You are Locked On Warriors POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports San Francisco on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Yo, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Locked On Warriors POSTCAST. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. You may know me as the former producer for the Murph and Mac Morning Show on KMBR. And tonight, the Golden State Warriors have now won 3 in a row in NBA Cup play after taking down the New Orleans Pelicans tonight, 111-108 at the Smoothie King Center, the worst name in all pro sports for any arena. This one was close, though, from wire to wire, but in clutch time, the Dubs defense stepped up and the shots went down. Andrew Wiggins continued his great play this week with another prolific yet efficient scoring night. He led the way with 30 points for the Warriors. And of course, the second half adjustments were huge on defense as the Warriors limited the Pelicans to 45 second half points after they dropped in 63 in the first half. We'll break it all down. But first, I want to thank all of you for watching us on the Locked On Sports San Francisco YouTube channel. Please, if you aren't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button right now. Thanks also for listening on the Locked On Warriors podcast feed and making us your first listen following these Warriors games. Make sure to check out the Locked On Warriors Daily Show for more in-depth coverage as your second listen. And today's show is sponsored by Robinhood. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of a high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at robinhood.com/gold. In the first half, as we were just talking about, the Pelicans and Warriors were really close neck and neck all through this one, but the Pels shot the lights out in the first half. I mean, 54.5% from the floor, 37.5% from three, just not something we are used to seeing the Warriors give up. But by the end of the game, that the Warriors put the clamps down on defense. Pelicans finished just 30% from beyond the arc and just 44% from the field. And in clutch time, that was what made the difference in this one. Draymond Green with a couple great stops on defense, a couple key rebounds, drawing some fouls. Like Draymond just iced this at the end of this one by himself. Andrew Wiggins, Buddy Hield hitting their shots at the foul line. Draymond hit enough of them, at the foul line to get the Warriors to a win here in this one. Free throw shooting still not the best for the Warriors, but hey, it took a slight step forward kind of today. I mean, they were at 75.9% tonight from the free throw line. It's sad that that's an improvement over where they've been at this season, but that's just where they're at right now. It's really perplexing to me that a team that shoots so well from the field just can't hit the wide open free throw shots. I mean, in clutch time, the Warriors lead the NBA in shooting percentage at 61%. 61% from the field in the most clutch time in the game. Like that's an insane stat. And to think that they can do that when they're, facing the most suffocating defense that they're going to face all night long, probably getting fouled, things like that. With the late game whistles, they're not going to blow them as much as they do earlier in the game. So you're dealing with all that, yet still shooting 60% from the floor. But when you're given a wide open shot with no defense from the free throw line, you clank them 25% plus of the time. That's just, I don't understand it. This is probably the weirdest stat in all of the NBA right now, is just the Warriors just suck at the free throw line. There's no real answer to it. They're bad on the road. They're bad at home. It does not matter what the situation is. The Warriors are just not very good at shooting free throws. But for whatever reason, they shoot a little bit better free throw wise in the clutch. Their free throw percentage in the clutch is 77.8% this year. So that's slightly better than what it's been in other games. So maybe that is what we can attribute the Warriors' free throw percentage tonight, like the step forward in that tonight too, is the fact that it was a clutch game and they felt like they had to make them, so they did. Maybe that's just how the Warriors are at the free throw line. They got to have the pressure on in order for them to do something out there, apparently. But we got to talk about Andrew Wiggins, because, man, this guy has had one hell of a week. And Wiggins was a huge part of why the Warriors were able to win this game tonight. We saw him hitting those free throws down the stretch. And, I mean, Wiggins, from the free throw line, 9 for 9, perfect. We finally got someone other than Steph Curry not missing any free throws. Buddy Hield 4 for 4 at the line. That helped a lot. Draymond Green 2 for 6 at the line. Does not help. But we're talking about Andrew Wiggins right now. And over his last few games, I mean, he had 30 tonight against the Hawks. He had 27 against the Clippers. He had 22. All of these games, he shot over 50% from the field. Andrew Wiggins has just been on a tear lately, and he's been active on defense. He's been all over the place. Andrew Wiggins has been a phenomenal asset for the Warriors this week and has really been, the focal point of this offense. Wiggs has been so aggressive, looking to shoot it from three and drive the lane. Wiggs shooting, pretty much 40% or better from three through this stretch of games as well. He's just been shooting the lights out, man. 3-point percentage against the Clippers, 50%. 3-point percentage against the Hawks, 50%. Tonight, Wiggins from three. He was awesome again, 3 of 5, so above 50%. This guy has been so solid for the Warriors, and he's kept the turnovers down. 2 turnovers tonight, but in these other games, he didn't really turn the ball over that much at all. Against the Hawks, 0 turnovers. Against the Clippers, 1 turnover. This has been an incredibly efficient run by Andrew Wiggins. This is the Andrew Wiggins that we saw the Warriors with in that 2022 championship run. We talked about this at very early on in the season, that maybe Andrew Wiggins, this is going to be his time to finally be able to just focus on basketball. Andrew Wiggins' off-court issues have been well documented. He has been inconsistent with the Warriors. And to be real, I don't know how someone can not be inconsistent when he was going through the family issues that he was going through with his father. All of that is very heavy and very sad. But for Andrew Wiggins, that situation, for better or for worse, is resolved at this point, and he can now focus solely on basketball. And of course, it's a very heavy loss that he's experienced in his life, but maybe the basketball court can be his escape, his solace from what he's had to endure in his life in these recent years. And I think that we're seeing an Andrew Wiggins with the weight lifted off of his shoulders, an Andrew Wiggins that is unburdened and able to go out there and focus his mind and quiet everything else going on around him and just play basketball. We're seeing this guy deliver what we thought he would be when he was coming out of Kansas in college and was touted as being like maybe potentially a LeBron James level athlete in the NBA. This guy's athleticism is off the charts. We see it on defense when he's able to make those ridiculous closeouts, which all the Warriors seem to be doing right now. All those closeouts are insane. We got to talk about that defense a little bit later on in the show. Andrew Wiggins is a big part of that as well. But offensively is where I've seen the biggest change in Andrew Wiggins' game. He is so decisive with what he is going to do, with how he is going to attack the defense. Seemed like in past years, he would be so just wishy-washy on what he wanted to do, looking to defer all the time. This Andrew Wiggins is not looking to defer, man. He is calling his own number when he can, when he should, and he's playing a very good mental game out there. He's staying within himself, but betting on himself as well, because this is a guy who can score. He can fill it up. We know the talent has always been there with Andrew Wiggins. That has never been the question with him. The question has always been the desire, the want to, and the focus, whether or not he can keep his head in the right mindset out on the court. In the past years, he hasn't been able to do that. Last year, he was very inconsistent. We saw him miss a ton of games. We haven't seen a consistent Andrew Wiggins with the Warriors since the 2021, 2022 NBA championship. And since that run, Wiggs has been not the same guy. This Andrew Wiggins, to me, looks like that Andrew Wiggins that helped the Warriors beat the Boston Celtics and deliver that Steph Curry night out there in Boston. This Andrew Wiggins we talk a lot about the Warriors needing kind of like a Robin to Steph's Batman. Wiggins is that guy. Wiggins has shown me through the early part of this season that he is absolutely locked in and that's who he's going to be this season. Maybe he gets derailed at some point later on, but right now, this guy is playing better basketball than damn near anybody else in the league. Andrew Wiggins has been on an absolute terror. He had 19 at halftime. He finished with 30. And he has just been so good. He's shooting a hair below 40% from three on the season, and he's just been phenomenal. Andrew Wiggins has just lifted this Warriors team so high in these last couple games. You don't win this one tonight without Wiggins. Steph, he was off a little bit tonight. He was 4 of 7 from three, but just 6 of 13 from the field, below 50% for Steph. And he just was turning the ball over a lot. Steph's had a lot of turnovers lately. And for Wiggins, he's been so consistent that he was almost the first option, even with Steph on the floor at some points tonight. Like, Wiggins was that good and has been that good. And for the Warriors as a team and Steve Kerr to be able to coach up stuff for him, to just buy in to what Andrew Wiggins has been doing and allow him to build on that and feed him I mean, that's got to grow this guy's confidence. When you have Steph Curry out there looking for you to be able to get you the ball so that you can help score and lead this team to a win, I mean, that's saying something. That's speaking volumes to how much confidence this team has in Andrew Wiggins right now, and it's paying off. 9 of 14 from the field, 3 of 5 from three, 9 of 9 from the free throw line. He had 3 boards and 4 assists tonight, a steal, a block. He's just filling up all of the categories, a stat stuffer night for Andrew Wiggins. 30 points. Great, phenomenal game from Andrew Wiggins. And it wasn't just on the offensive side of the ball. The defense, man, the defense was huge for the Warriors in the clutch in the second half in general. That's what we're going to get into next. That's what's coming up on the Locked On Warriors postcast. Today's show is sponsored by Chime. Times are tough, and that's no secret. There's never been a more important time to focus on your finances. We've all hit a point where we realize it was time to make serious moves about your money, serious money moves. Take control of your finances by using a Chime checking account with features like no maintenance fees, fee-free overdraft up to $200, or getting paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit. Learn more at chime.com/NBA. Overdraft fees are the worst. You're already out of money, and now you got to pay more money that you don't have for the overdraft. Just terrible, man. With Chime, you don't need to worry about that, as you can overdraft up to $200 with no fees. Chime is a financial institution with a sense of community. Join the millions of Chime members who are already working on financial progress. There are no monthly fees or maintenance fees and over 50,000 fee-free ATMs. To date, Chime has spotted members over $30 billion. Make your fall finances a little greener by working toward your financial goals with Chime. Open your account in just 2 minutes at chime.com/NBA. That's chime.com/NBA. Chime feels like progress. Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp Bank, not applicable, or N.A. or Stride Bank, N.A. Members FDIC. Spot Me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Terms and conditions apply. Go to chime.com/disclosures for details. Today's show is also sponsored by Game Time. I love live events, from concerts to sporting events and everything in between, and I rely on Game Time to get my tickets. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks. Makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. I love the all-in pricing feature. Toggling this feature on shows the total upfront with no surprise fees at checkout. Game Time also gives customers the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. And with Game Time ticket coverage, your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Receipt of copy does not constitute an order. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. Welcome back to the Locked On Warriors postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. Tonight, the Warriors win one in clutch time, 112-108 over the New Orleans Pelicans. The Pelicans just 4-13, man. They have not been good, but they are playing like a team that was desperate for a win tonight. This one was close all night long, back and forth. Pelicans were stroking it in that first half. I mean, from three, from anywhere on the field, really, they could not miss. They were shooting over 50% from the floor and were shooting the lights out from three as well. So the Pelicans, just phenomenal scoring in the first half, 37.5% from three in the first half. This was well over what the Warriors are giving up defensively this season. They hold teams to just 42.7% shooting from the floor. That's second in the NBA, by the way, just a hair behind OKC at 42.1%. So just 0.6% back of the NBA lead. That's how good this Warriors defense has been. They've also held teams to just 31.2% from three. That is the best mark in the NBA, the best perimeter defense. And in that first half, the Pelicans were shooting about 7%, 6% better than that, what the Warriors have been holding teams to this season. So the Pelicans punching a little bit above their weight in that first half, and they came back to earth in the second half. As we said at the top of the show, 63 first half points for the Pelicans, only 45 second half points for the Pelicans. And the Warriors defense, I felt like, took a huge adjustment into that second half. Their closeouts look much more crisp. Their rotations look better. And they just looked to ratchet up that intensity. And you could tell right out of the break. I mean, the Warriors forced a 24-second shot clock violation like right away in that third quarter. And that, I think, set the tone for what the Warriors wanted to do in that second half. And what forced that 24-second shot clock violation was the Warriors' crisp rotations and clean closeouts, all that effort from extra help defenders to try and run guys off the line and force them into making other passes and looking for other options. The Pelicans had to defer on so many shots that looked open, but the Warriors closed out on so quickly that it forced them out of all these different shots until they just ran into a 24-second shot clock violation. And yeah, usually a play like that in the start of the third quarter really isn't a big deal. Things like that happen all the time in the NBA. But this one, it felt just different. Like the Warriors came out of the locker room looking to make a stop on defense, and they got it right away. And I felt like that just fed that team just everything, that all the energy that they needed to, and all the confidence that they needed to go out there and build on that possession after possession after possession until the end of this game, where you saw Draymond Green blocking shots, pulling down rebounds, and going to the foul line. Even though he was 2 of 6 at the foul line, he just kept drawing enough fouls there. He had enough shots at the foul line at the end of this game that he was able to put it away eventually. But that is the kind of tenacity that this Warriors defense is going to beat you with. They're going to beat you up on the defensive side of the ball. They're going to go get some rebounds, even though you're bigger than them. It doesn't matter. The Warriors are going to fight. This is a tough team, man. And they are gritty, they're grindy, and they show it on defense. We talked a lot about Jerry Stackhouse in recent shows. And I mean, I feel like we got to talk about him even more, because he is the reason that this defense looks so different this year. Like the Warriors were decent last year, and they're, they would be up and down. And it's because they have a lot of really great on-ball defenders. And they also had some on the team last year as well. Andrew Wiggins, great on-ball defender. Draymond obviously does his thing. GP2, great on-ball defender. Moses Moody has his moments. Kuminga is athletic enough that he can be one of those guys. GJD provided some fun moments defensively last year. Remember that block on Wemby that he gave us? So the Warriors have had some spurts of defense, and we saw that at the end of last season. But Jerry Stackhouse was able to take all of these pieces and mesh them together into a system that works. And he's got everybody buying in, guys rotating, flying around, closing out on shooters. Nobody gets an open shot. Any team playing the Warriors, it just seems like that's their philosophy. No open shots, like close out on everything. Don't worry about crashing the board. Go block that shot. Go run that guy off the line and let everyone else just box out and do the work early on and try and get the rebounds that way. And that's been really working well for this Warriors team, the way that they are able to switch and play off of these rotations. I mean, it just seems seamless. Everybody's on the same page. You never see two defenders run with the same guy off a pick and roll. Everybody is just locked into their assignments and never really seems to make a mistake. I mean, offense will beat, good offense will beat good defense in the NBA. We saw that, that Brandon Ingram 3 towards the end, the Trey Murphy 3 towards the end, those 2 threes that dropped in for the Pelicans. It was good defense on both of those shots. They were just better shots than it was defense. And you can't really beat that in basketball. There's some things where offense just beats defense in the NBA. But the Warriors aren't going to give you anything easy. They're going to make you fight for every single bucket that you get. And if you make one, you're going to probably breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief against this team, because they are going to hound you, harass you, and force you to make some tough shots, man. Like, you're going to be shooting over defenders all day. It obviously helps if you're Brandon Ingram and you're like 6'11", shooting jumpers over guys. It kind of looks like Kevin Durant sometimes doing that. Fitz even said that on the broadcast today. I mean, this Warriors team, the defense is going to keep you in games time in and time out, even when the offense doesn't look right. Like, Steph just didn't really look right tonight. He had 19 points in 33 minutes. He had 4 turnovers. He did a lot of other stuff. Steph was 7 rebounds and 7 assists. He was filling up the other stats outside of the scoring column today on the stat sheet. But the Warriors really, really, really leaning on that defense when you have some off nights from your superstar, from your human torch, Steph Curry. And this is, again, if you just have one other guy besides Steph step up, Andrew Wiggins tonight and all week long has been that guy, you're going to win some games behind this defense. Steph's going to do his thing. You just need someone else to step up every now and again. And tonight it was Andrew Wiggins. And I really, really liked what we saw from him. The bench Also, we got to talk about the bench a little bit. They did pretty well in the second half after being outscored by the Pelicans bench in the first half. I mean, the Pelicans, Jeremiah Robinson Earl with 19 points off the bench, and Brandon Boston Jr. with 16 points off the bench. I don't think the Warriors expected to have to deal with those two guys. Maybe also some of this second half adjustments for the Warriors was just getting to see some of those other guys like that were hurting them. The Jeremiah Robinson Earl and Brandon Boston Jr. Maybe after they went into the locker room at the half, they were able to kind of come up with a better idea for how to defend these guys. Guys further down the scouting report, you don't always see hurting you. For the Pelicans, obviously, the Warriors knew they had to key in on Brandon Ingram, and they did. He only went 2 of 7 from three-point land, 7 of 16 from the field, below 50%, and they forced 4 turnovers from him. So the Warriors did a really good job on the New Orleans Pelicans star. They were missing Zion Williamson tonight, and we're still missing DeJounte Murray. And so Brandon Ingram trying to do it all by himself out there. Had some help from Trey Murphy, who had 24 points on 5 of 9 from 3. So Trey Murphy hurt you tonight if you're the Warriors. But outside of that, you did a really good job on everybody else. Boston was only 1 for 6 from 3. Ingram 2 of 7, as we said. Javonte Green 1 of 3 from 3. So the Warriors did a very, very good job closing out on these three-point shooters all night long, forcing them into tougher shots. Trey Murphy was just hitting those tough shots, man. But the bench, really good job bouncing back in the second half. And Jonathan Kuminga, he had a bad scoring night. We gotta talk about him just briefly here. 3 of 10 from the field for Kuminga and 0 for 2 from 3 in his 20 minutes. But he started doing some other things late in this one. And I really liked what we saw from Kuminga in the second half after the shot just wasn't falling. Just seemed off scoring night for Jonathan Kuminga and an off scoring night for Buddy Hield as well. Buddy Hield also 3 for 10 from the field. And when those two guys aren't scoring, this bench needs someone else to lift them up. Brandon Bajemski had 11 points and shot 5 of 11 from the field. So he was the guy tonight for the bench scoring. But Kuminga and Buddy with 12, Kuminga with 7. So they eventually got some points, but it was very inefficient basketball from these guys. But what I liked from Kuminga is the adjustment that he made in the second half to turn himself more into a decoy and a passer than a scorer in his minutes. I mean, with Kuminga in that second half, we saw him, with the baseball pass, with the driving kick, and like both of those plays resulted, the driving kick in the third quarter and the baseball pass in the fourth quarter, both of them resulted in buckets for the Warriors, where Kuminga, drew the defense into him and the focus was on him. And he found an outlet, found somebody else to go and score. And that is not something that we have seen from Kuminga often in his young years. We have not seen him display that court vision and that passing ability yet. That is not a thing that we have seen very much from Jonathan Kuminga. That's not an adjustment that he's really been able to make. But I saw something from him tonight. And if he continues to be able to build on that, that's just another aspect of this guy's game. I was really hard on Jonathan Kuminga at the beginning of the season, saying that we have not seen enough cerebral growth from him in this Warriors offense, in this Warriors system. This, even though it's just a couple plays, it's a small sample size, it's still signs of growth, of cerebral mental growth in this Warriors system. He's not just running around out there relying on his athleticism. He's playing in the system, and that's what the Warriors need this guy to do. If he can use that athleticism within the Warriors system, the sky's the limit for him. Sky is the absolute limit for Jonathan Kuminga, especially if he continues to develop that three-point shot. I still really love Jonathan Kuminga taking set three-point shots, not off the dribble, off the catch and shoot, set shots around the perimeter. The off the dribble threes, still not my favorite for him. But the Warriors, they grind another win out, 112-108. And this one came down to clutch time, clutch minutes. We got to go over some of the Warriors' clutch time stats because it is a night and day difference from what it was last year. The Warriors 22-22, a ton of clutch games last season. They haven't had nearly as many so far this season. I don't think they're going to have to play, 44 of them next year or this year. I don't think we're going to have 44 clutch games this season. Maybe they will, but the Warriors, I think, will win a lot more games, a lot more decidedly this year than they did last season. But in the clutch time, when they are in these moments, they're pretty dang good. So let's talk about that. That's what's coming up next on the Locked On Warriors postcast. Today's show is sponsored by Robinhood. With Robinhood Gold, you don't need a silver spoon to eat up that financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold allows others to get the rates and perks usually reserved for the high society. Now, the resourceful individual with Robinhood Gold can earn the very liberal rate of 4.25% APY on uninvested cash and be rewarded with a handsome 3% retirement bonus on IRA account contributions. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at Robinhood Gold at Robinhood.com/gold. Again, that's Robinhood.com/gold. Terms apply. For specific disclosures, visit Robinhood.com/gold. Investment involves risk. Rate may change. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold, LLC. Welcome back to the Locked On Warriors postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. And tonight, the Warriors 112-108 win over the Pelicans. And this one was close. The Warriors had a 10-point lead, a very brief 10-point lead at one point in the fourth quarter in this one. That was the biggest lead of the game for either team, but it was very short-lived. And this one was living in the single digits point differential for the entire game. I mean, the Warriors were really struggling to put away this team. The Pelicans, not a very good record, 4-13 this season, but playing like a team that was hungry for a win. This is the third time that they played the Warriors this season so far, very early on. So this is a team that knows the Warriors really well so far this season and has, probably the best. It's hard to keep beating teams, even if they're teams that aren't, they aren't as good as others in the NBA. There's no real, terrible team in the NBA that everyone can beat anybody on any given night. There's a ton of talent in this league. And tonight you saw an example of that. Like the Pelicans, Trey Murphy III, bombing in shots from deep. And it gave the Pelicans a chance to win this one. They shot really well in that first half and kind of tried to ride that wave to this win. But the Warriors in clutch time, in these clutch minutes, shut that down. And again, the Warriors, we got to talk about it. They're now 5-2 in these clutch games. They've been really good in all of them shooting. They lead the NBA, 61% shooting in these clutch minutes. And the free throw shooting goes up a tick in those moments as well. 77.8% free throw shooting down the wire in these moments. And so the Warriors, their plus minus is also second in the NBA in these clutch minutes, 3.8 plus 3.8 for the Warriors in these moments. And for me, what I am seeing with my eye, like we can talk about these stats all day long and you can take what you want from that. But what my eyes are telling me is that this team doesn't make mistakes very often in the clutch minutes, except for, oh my God, trying to inbound the ball when the shot clock is off at the end of the game. This is now the second time that the Warriors have turned the ball over in this situation. You remember the Buddy Hield, where he tried to just sprint across the court and get up a last second shot and fell down and dropped the ball against Houston. And we had to go to overtime and barely won that game. That was another game where the Warriors just had to inbound the ball and just successfully do that and draw the foul and get to the line, hit the free throws. Game would have been over in regulation in Houston, but the Warriors couldn't do it, and the Houston Rockets forced overtime in that one tonight. The Warriors, a similar situation, turn the ball over, but they don't give up the score at the other end to allow the Pelicans to tie it up after Draymond Green tried to inbound it again to Buddy Hield in clutch time. I don't know that that's what I want in clutch time, but nonetheless, hey, it worked out. The Warriors inbounded the ball. It was stolen away by the Pelicans. They couldn't score at the other end. Draymond Green came down with the rebound, drew a foul, went to the line, made one and missed one, but then got the rebound off his own miss and drew another foul. And so what I'm seeing, the point being, where we're getting to with all this, what I'm seeing from the Warriors is just this never quit, grindy, gritty mentality that they have at the ends of games. They are not leaning on Steph to just go out there and shoot them out of trouble. It's not, oh no, the defense is a wet paper bag and a turns dial. Everyone's just running to the rim on while the Warriors are on defense. And we just need Steph to go trade 3 for 2 every possession down. That seemed like a lot of what it was last year and in years past. But this Warriors team seems to be relying on their defense. It was Draymond Green that iced this game, not Stephen Curry. I mean, this one was a perfect example of how the Warriors hustle, effort, defensive intensity is going to win you a bunch of games. And we keep saying that, but that's true, man. That is the number one takeaway from this Warriors team so far, is they have made themselves into a legitimate contender this season because of the defense. And I'm going to leave you guys with this thought because we're running out of time on the show here. But the Warriors, I say that they're contenders, and I am now 100% 110% bought into the idea that the Warriors can win the NBA championship this season. And that is mainly because of this defense and the way, you got Steph, Wardell, Curry, Andrew Wiggins is playing like a all-star, all-NBA level wing. But also Kendrick Lamar dropped a new album today. And every year that the Warriors have won a championship, Kendrick Lamar has dropped a new album. I love me some K-Dot. And apparently the Warriors do too. So Kendrick Lamar dropping the album unexpectedly. Maybe the Warriors are going to win an unexpected NBA championship this year as well, because that's just how the world works. We're searching for the particles, and I think we found them right here, man. The Warriors have all sorts of particles flying around on defense, on offense. This team has been so fun to watch this year. Clutch minutes, they're great. In non-clutch minutes, they're great. This team has been solid. They're undefeated against teams under 500 this season. They beat who they're supposed to beat, and they punch above their weight when they play teams that are supposed to be better than them. Shout out the Boston Celtics. So the Golden State Warriors, another big win tonight, another clutch win for the Warriors, and some positive steps from virtually everybody all across the board. Jonathan Kuminga on an off-scoring night shows that he's growing cerebrally, mentally. The Warriors lean on their defense to ice this game out instead of leaning on Steph Curry. That's growth as a system, new ways to win games. And you had Andrew Wiggins displaying that he is going to be the superstar guy that we thought he was going to be coming out of Kansas. The Warriors, maybe by the end of the time that Wiggins has in Golden State, we'll be saying what a steal that trade was, that we got Andrew Wiggins for D'Lo and some other stuff too. But the Warriors, again, great win tonight, 112 to 108 over the New Orleans Pelicans. And Wiggins, I'm very impressed with how efficient and how prolific he has been scoring the basketball this week. Another 30 points to lead the way for the Warriors. That's all the time that we got for you guys tonight. Thanks so much for tuning in and making us your first listen following these Warriors games. Make sure that for your second listen, you're checking out the Locked On Warriors daily show, the Locked On Warriors podcast. So thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time. By the way, tomorrow, Warriors play Spurs. We will not be coming to you live on the POSTCAST. I apologize. I got other, as some of you know, I do some game day work with Stanford football and basketball. I got some Stanford basketball obligations tomorrow, so maybe I'll be seeing a future Warrior. We've seen Joe Lacob down at Stanford watching their big 7-foot tall center, Maxime Reynaud. So maybe I'm going to be doing a little scouting for a future Warrior. Who knows? It'd be really fun if Maxime gets to the Warriors. I like him. If you haven't seen him in some Stanford hoops this year, check it out. He's a force in the inside. So that's all the time we got for you guys today. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Peace.